Well, colleagues, I'm very sorry indeed that I'm not able to be with you this morning for what looks like there's going to be a very interesting set of workshops, and today's workshop with the staff at the university and from colleague institutions. I'm sure that my colleagues Mick and Paul will add a lot to your discussions over the next couple of or next day, but they've asked me to do a very short introduction to some of the thinking that we've been doing in the UK about what makes good technical and professional education. And in looking at what we believe makes the best technical and professional education, I think we could usefully this morning talk about three key questions and two underlying concepts. The three questions key off of what is taught, who does the teaching, and where that teaching takes place. So what, who, and where. Looking first at the what, the key requirement, I think, for effective teaching and learning ready for work is in relation to what is taught, and that the requirement is that the content for the courses comes from the workplace. This is a challenge, I think, to many academic institutions who value, quite rightly, their academic freedom and independence. But in this form of education, if we're preparing people for work, the employer voice and the employer requirement must be to the forefront. That requirement expresses itself in two ways, I think. First, in terms of the mix of courses that the college or university provides, and that mix must be informed by local labour market intelligence, the needs of the local economy that the university or college serves. But it's not just enough to have the right mix of courses, it's what goes on in those courses. And what goes on in those courses needs to be informed by the needs of employers, understanding those needs and reflecting them in the course content. The second key requirement, I think, is to look at who does the teaching, and that's you, in terms of what will make you the most expert and effective teacher in this area. Well, I'm sure you're all great teachers, but our feeling is to be effective in the world of work, or preparing students for the world of work, we need dual professionals who are expert teachers, but also expert in the profession, the trade, or the work area in which they're teaching. And that expertise needs not only to be based on theory, but on practice. And the most effective teachers, or a mix of teachers, need to come from the industry itself and open themselves up to become teachers. So they're both teachers and professionals, dual professionals, in order to deliver teaching and learning most effectively. And the third area, I think, that makes teaching and learning particularly effective in this area is the type of environment in which the teaching takes place. We like to talk about environments that are a facsimile or a representative for the workplace. So the student has a practical experience that they can relate to the workplace. That means industry standard facilities and industry processes being used in the teaching environment. And it also involves, I think, if at all possible, students going to carry out a part of their course in an industrial placement or as an apprentice. So the key requirements, I think, the key ideas are what is taught comes from the workplace. Who does the teaching? People who are experienced and knowledgeable about the workplace, and where it's taught is a representation and gives a clear route to the workplace itself. The two underlying concepts, I think, that we'd like to talk about here are a line of sight to work and a two-way street. A clear line of sight to work is encompassed in the three issues I've just talked about. The student can see from their learning directly into the workplace and can see the relevance of what they're being taught. And in terms of I've forgotten for a moment the last one, but I've just about got it back now, a two-way street. A two-way street means that we need to have an engagement with industry, a conversation with industry, but that engagement needs to go both ways. It needs to respect your expertise as educators and the expertise of employers. The employers also, I think, need to give you the opportunity to go into the workplace yourselves in order to update your practice. So a very live and continuous conversation with industry. I hope those ideas are helpful to your discussions today. And again, I'm very sorry indeed that I can't be with you.